Okay, if you are one of the unfortunate people that just no matter what you do, you can't pass that test that comes up that I mentioned in the last video to get you connected to 000 hosting through Dreamweaver, here's the alternate way to do it. It's a little bit more work, but you can definitely get it done this way. So the first thing you're going to do is go to 000 web host. You're going to sign into the account that you created probably a couple weeks ago, and you are going to get to the back end of your website. Okay, it's taking a while to load. We're going to go to this. I have more than one. You may only have one, but either way, you go to the site that you're having the problem with by clicking on Manage Site. This takes you to the dashboard in the back, and what you're looking for is the file manager. So notice I have to scroll down. Now by the time you're looking at this may be in a slightly different place, but ultimately we're trying to get to the file manager. Okay, and then I guess we need to click this again to bring us in a little bit deeper. And if you're having troubles with this, either you're looking at a completely blank website because you were never able to get it done in the first place, or maybe now you're working on the CSS site and you came back here and you have some stuff in here, but not all the stuff that you need. Or you just, you were able to connect back then, you couldn't now. Whatever the situation is, this is not going to have the right stuff in it. So I'll pretend, in my case, that I have been in here before, since I have. And what I want to do is just delete everything that I put in here. And it's probably going to ask me if I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. Delete all this. Okay. So now, had I never been in here, it'd probably look a little bit more like this. So basically what I'm looking at right here is the inside of the public HTML folder. And like I said, the inside of the public HTML folder needs to look just like the inside of your local root folder. So I'm going to pull up my local root folder. Okay, so I navigated to my local root folder, and now basically what I have to do is build this up so it looks just like my local root folder. Before I do that, I just want to show you what this site would look like right now if we were to go to it for the, if the world were to go to our URL right now with nothing loaded. If I punch in my address, my URL to my website, this is what I see. And it may change, by the time you see it, but it basically should be some kind of a default page or, letting you know that it is missing an index file. So a lot of times what makes sense before you go through all the work that I'm about to show you is just go into the file manager and then just upload your index page, right? And that way you can test and see before you go through all the work of building folders whether this is going to work for you, whether you're locked in here. So I'm just going to take my index and I am going to drag it over here. It's telling me that it's going to the public HTML, which is perfect. That's what I want. Click upload. And now be aware that just because we go over here, sometimes you get lucky and you just do a refresh and it comes up, but I've seen in class where students do that and it doesn't refresh. So there's a couple things that you may have to do. If you have another browser that you can go to, you can do that. You can also clear your cache for your browser. And so you can just look that up on Google. Like, in my case, what I do is go to Google and type in how to clear the cache in Chrome, and then it would show me step by step how to do it. But this worked for us. So, and keep in mind, if we click on the other pages, they're not going to show up, right? Because we didn't load them in. But we know things are working for us. We can see our index page now. We go back into 000 host and we start to build the other structure. And perhaps by the time you watching this video, maybe they've made this a lot better. But as of right now, I can't just copy the entire contents and just drag it over here like I could in Dreamweaver. So what I actually have to do is for every folder that exists inside of my local root folder, I have to make. So let's start with pages, and you have to be careful that you spell it exactly the same way. Stick with the proper casing. Like we said, we never capitalize the first word of anything in code, and we don't start with numbers. All right, so let's do that. We come over here. We go to an icon for a new folder. Right there, new folder, pages, create. There's our pages folder. Let's try double clicking on it to open it up. Yep, that worked. And then we go over here to our local root folder, grab our 2 pages, put them in, upload. And at this point, we could probably keep on going and just upload everything. But for the heck of it, I'll just show you now that if we go to our site, we can see our pages. So yes, indeed, now the pages are working. And back to the main page, you can see that the image is still missing. And if you're doing your very first site and it's just the HTML site, then obviously you won't see this kind of stuff. But I'm doing this with my second project files, but the process is still the same. Basically recreate everything that's inside of here. So back at 000, double click on public HTML, look over here, see what's missing. And we can see I still have to make my images. And if you're working on project 2, the styles folder. So new folder, name that folder for our images, but let's make sure it's exact. And it's, in my case, underscore images, create, double click, over here, drag, drop, upload. I think you get the point now, but just for completeness sake, I'll go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so I now have all of my folders, and inside of all those folders contain all the same files. So basically, this and this look the same other than that file that they put in there. And when we go to preview it and refresh the browser, we should see that everything is working. And if it's CSS site, it should look something like that, and everything should be working. Make sure you test. And if it's just the first project, the HTML site, it'll look more like that. And again, just make sure everything's working and you are good.